All right, here we go. It's your boy, George Wrighster, and it is Unafraid Show live. We had some technical difficulties in the beginning, but we got ourselves right. So, the SEC Media Day is here, and the propaganda was at an all time high with Greg Sankey's comments. The college football, their schedules are grossing me out, and you should be frustrated as I am as fans. I will explain to you why. Brian Kelly, his quest for 1-0 reeks of desperation, and everything is dedicated around Clemson. And I'm going to tell you why that is a problem for the Tigers. And even though my SEC rankings come out tomorrow, I'm going to give you a hint because I got LSU pretty damn high, but this made me highly concerned. We're getting WWE promos in college football. These are becoming the norm. You got Diego Pavia, his popularity, Jeremiah Smith, recruits talking about we ain't never gonna lose to this team. And I love it. I absolutely love it. This is great for the game of college football. And there's also been a major recruiting shift and why rankings matter now more than ever before. And the power is in a handful of people's hands. And these are more powerful than some college football coaches because this stuff matters greatly with the merger of On3 and Rivals.com. And you got Sark cooking up on the recruiting trail. That and so much more here on the Unafraid Show. And you guys make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, and tell a friend about the Unafraid Show because this is the best damn place to enjoy and to get your college football knowledge so you can go behind the water cooler and tell all your friends what you up to and what you know because we are bringing the truth and bringing the heat. All right, so we're going to start with the SEC. The SEC and the comments by Greg Sankey because he has become a bit of a heel to the rest of college football because he's feeling himself and he's feeling his power and he's taking every single opportunity to clap back at the Big 10, the Big 12, at their commissioners and with their different ideas for the sport because I'm truly at odds with a lot of what Greg Sankey does because it values the SEC over college football as a whole. And now, granted, I do 100% understand that is Greg Sankey's job. He's the SEC commissioner. But when you have Tony Petitti at the Big Ten and Greg Sankey over at the SEC, determining what the future of the college football playoff is going to look like, determining what the future of the sport is going to look like, I believe that it is his calling to not just do what is best for the SEC, but to do what's best for college football as a whole when you are the gatekeeper of it. Because a lot of his stances are about guarantees. Guarantees that they'll keep playing 8 conference games. Guarantees about how many people that, how many teams that they're going to get into the college football playoff. Guarantees are anti competitive. They're anti everything as it relates to college football. And you have all of these teams basing their schedules off of that. And it's gross. It is bad for the game. And as far as, competition and Greg Sankey, all of these negotiations about the college football playoff, they're taking place in the media now. All these teams are trying to win the court of public opinion and these conferences are trying to win the court of public opinion. That's what it is. Come on, man. And with the as great as the SEC had been, you would think that he would appreciate the competition on the field and competition just in life a little bit more because I'm not feeling what he was talking about at all. Not even a little bit. Now I will agree with somebody in the chat. He can't clap back at the Big Ten because truthfully, the Big Ten, and I mean this with all due respect to SEC fans, is that the Big Ten right now is the best conference in college football. And it is hard to deny if we're being honest. It is hard to deny because the Big Ten, first and foremost, 5-1 versus the SEC in the last 2 years. 2-0 in the college football playoff, and won the last two national championships. So in this point in time, yes, it is a small sample size. The Big Ten is showing its dominance at this point. Now, the SEC wants to move the argument because remember, it used to be that the SEC has the elite teams at the top, Alabama, Georgia, then the LSU in 2019, and then you had a Florida pop up with Tim Tebow Nimitz or the Cam Newton Auburn year. They're like, we're so dominant. But in reality, you had them just have the single best team. But now it's different. And now he's claiming that 70% of linear television viewership for all college football games last year involved a Big Ten or SEC team. And he used that to establish the authority that he was speaking with from the stage. Now, where the SEC has gone right, and I am super excited to watch, is there's a new Netflix show called Any Given Saturday, and it talks about the 2024 season. It goes into depth similar to the PGA Tour, Full Swing, Drive to Survive on F1, and quarterback and wide receiver and all of those things. This is what the SEC has done, and they have been on the forefront of this for a very long time. And this is smart business. This is extremely smart business because the more you are out there, because the SEC, the best thing that happened in addition to winning national championships was being on CBS. And now they're on ESPN ABC because it was being on free television was the most important thing. But now in a streaming era, things have changed a little bit and the playing field is balanced. Like you have the Big Ten on Peacock, on ESPN, on CBS, on Fox, on all the channels. That's the way that things are and should be going forward. It's just the truth. But Greg Sankey's quote was the one that made me laugh about the Any Given Saturday show. He said, "Witness the unparalleled pressure, commitment, and raw emotion it takes to be a D1 player in college football's leading conference." Well, you know what you won't see at the end of that is a championship. Now, the reason why my frustration lies with Greg Sankey, because I do believe he's done a great job as the commissioner of the SEC. And he has done a great job with the messaging, the propaganda, the everything that goes along with those things. My biggest issue with Greg Sankey is the consistent manipulation of the college football playoff and not doing what's right for us college football fans. He's not doing what is best for us. And shame on him and shame on everybody else who is participating in what is bad for college football. And this was highlighted today by Indiana. Yes, Indiana football highlighted this today because they went on to cancel their home and home series with the University of Virginia Cavaliers out of the ACC in 27 and 28. And then they're going to pay Virginia $500,000 for canceling that series. And instead, they add home games versus Kennesaw State in 2027 and Austin Peay in 2028 and Eastern Illinois in 2029. So here is what we got out of Indiana, which is gross and bad for college football. In 2025, their non-conference schedule, Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State. 2026, Colorado State and Western Kentucky, which is better, but still ain't great. 2027, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, and UMass. What are we doing here? I know that Indiana used to be a doormat in college football, but this is atrocious. 2028, Austin Peay, Eastern Michigan. 29, Ball State, Eastern Michigan, Western Kentucky. This is why schedules do not need to be made this far in advance because this honestly is gross. It pains me to absolutely look at this, and they should be ashamed of themselves. But this whole discussion is not about Indiana. This is about Ohio State in 2024, Michigan in 2023, and plenty of SEC non-conference schedules. Those are the issues because we as fans only get 12 opportunities to watch our teams play. 12 opportunities. And to intentionally play less competitive games is a disgrace to fans. This is why I called out Lincoln Riley in USC for trying to get Notre Dame off the schedule to make it easier to make the college football playoff. It's gross. And yes, the SEC is the king of doing this. But George, don't you know that they play Ohio State plays, well, excuse me, Texas plays Ohio State, Alabama plays Florida State and Wisconsin, LSU plays Clemson, South Carolina plays Clemson. Oh, you notice? Oh, Clemson is doing something right. Texas A&M plays Notre Dame. You can sell me on the one-off games all you want to try to sell me on, but you cannot convince me that college football fans want this. You can't. If you are a college football fan, scheduling non-competitive games, scheduling 4 of them, or even 3 of them, goes against the spirit of college football, which is competition. Competition is what is supposed to be the hallmark of college football. So to go against that and intentionally schedule soft games and take good games off the schedule. And remember, we've had SEC coaches try to condemn their student section, threaten to revoke their tickets for leaving early or not showing up. Well, put a better game on the field. That's what you do. Because you can't convince me that college football fans would rather watch Alabama play the Citadel than play Oregon or Michigan or hell, Kansas State, Arizona State, anybody that they could even possibly lose to. Even if they lose, they would rather see a better game than to watch them win by 50 points. Maybe I'm wrong. Y'all leave in the comments. Am I bugging here? Am I bugging? Or am I telling the truth? Because what do you guys want as college football fans? Because I know plenty of college football fans, and I cannot believe that that is a real sentiment of people. I'm just saying. So we are in a position where we as fans cannot allow this. And you guys make sure that you swipe up, subscribe, leave a comment, everything in between, because we will be going live regularly and everything else. Now, here is the truth. This season, Ole Miss and Missouri are the only SEC teams who do not have an out-of-conference game away from their home stadium. Think about this. They don't even play away in a non-conference game, and they got 4 of them. All of them are at home. Georgia and Tennessee have 3 non-conference home games and then 1 neutral site game. However, these so-called neutral site games are both at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. That's a home game for Georgia and a hop, skip, and a jump for Tennessee. When you have 16 teams in the SEC and you got only Alabama, Florida, and South Carolina playing 10 Power 5 games, that don't work. Only 3 teams. Alabama's playing Florida State and Wisconsin. Florida is playing Miami and Florida State. And South Carolina is playing Virginia Tech and Clemson. That's it. And last year, all you had was 3-2. LSU played UCLA and USC. Florida played Miami and FSU. And then Georgia played Clemson and Georgia Tech. That's it from the greatest conference around. Come on, man. Stop being scared. Why are there so many games against Illinois State and Samford and Mercer and, you know, Middle Tennessee State and Furman and Kent State and Wofford and Akron. Illinois State, what are we doing as college football fans? Why are we standing for this? Can anybody explain this to me? Why are we standing for this? Because this is anti what we really want. This is terrible. This is why you guys have to speak up. You have to make your voices heard. You can make your voices heard by not showing up to those bad games. Make them. And this is exactly why this Indiana taking them off the schedule, USC trying to take off Notre Dame, the SEC refusing to play 9 conference games, plus the additional the additional Power Four game. It'd be different if they were just walking through everybody in the college football playoff and the Big Ten, but that's not the case. Go play 9 conference games. The world has changed. Just saying. People don't want to hear the truth. People don't want to hear the truth. And because they were like, oh, we need a national championship. National championships are important. I played at Oregon before I played in the NFL. Do you think I don't want to see Oregon win a national championship? Of course I do. But do I want to see Oregon playing 3 non-conference games that I don't want to see? No, there's only 12 opportunities in the greatest sport in the world. Come on, man. And then the threats about staying at 12 versus 16, and then he's touting all 16 members of the SEC conference played 9 games against what you would label power opponents. We had several that played 10 of their 12, only 3, several. Man, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. I hate it with the power of 1,000 suns, but that's a whole nother story. All right, next thing up. Brian Kelly, the head coach over at LSU, in his opening and press conferences talking about the LSU Tigers in this season. And mind you, he went all in the transfer portal because his defense has been garbage since he got to LSU. And remember, he said, judge me in year 3. Well, year 3, offensive genius has been going on for the last 3 years. Defense has been piss poor. And when you and this is something that I learned from talking to Dabo Swinney in the interview that's on Unafraid show, is he said, if I change jobs, of course I would have to be heavy in the transfer portal to get a good roster. But then there would come a point where we got to keep recruiting, stand on our recruiting, use the portal minimally. That's what he talked about. So Brian Kelly's been at LSU. He's been resourced. There's a plethora of players, all of this stuff. To have to go so heavy in the transfer portal, to go all in this year, I'm telling you, even though their roster looks good, it is not going to pay dividends long term like you think it will. College football teams that go so heavy in the portal every single year with established head coaches are going to find themselves chasing their tail. They're going to jump up one year, and then they're going to fall back down the next, because if you are relying on the transfer portal as an established team to build your roster every year, the core of your roster, the best players on your roster, you are going to find yourself in a problem. And their first game this year is against the Clemson Tigers. And he acknowledged being 0-3 to start the season at his LSU tenure. And Brian Kelly is desperate at this point in time. And it's been regularly brought up that he's 1-3 against Dabo Swinney in his career. So he said, we need to do some things differently. It's a 1-0 mindset. We put paw prints on the bags at school and in the weight room and everywhere else. So much focus on Clemson and less focus on themselves. That's the issue, is that you don't get a warm-up. To be great in college football, it's got to be about you and your team, not about the opponent. And this is what Brian Kelly is doing, because he is feeling the pressure. He is feeling desperate in Baton Rouge. He's like, we got to beat Dabo Swinney. We got to beat Clemson. We got to beat Clemson. So is it we got to beat Clemson, or is it we got to be the best football team that we can be and we got to be bomb? Doesn't matter the opponent. If we play our brand of football, if we play to our standard, the standard is the standard. If we play to the standard, we will be fine. That's my issue with LSU right now. All right, now let's move on to Diego Pavia. This man is crazy popular right now. Who would have thought that this dude in this picture, sitting in the middle of SEC Media Day, more reporters around here than damn near everybody except for Arch Manning. And this man is out here. He went on bussing with the boys, talking crazy, doing WWE promos, talking about, I came back to win a national championship. Listen, Clark Lee's doing a fabulous job down there at Vanderbilt. They're not winning no national championship. I mean, and so that leads you to believe, you're like, okay, either Diego Pavia is delusional, which I don't believe, or he understands the power of promotion. He understands the power of, if I say something radical, it will get picked up and noticed. And that's what he's doing. He is pushing the limit. He's like, y'all gonna feel me, y'all gonna know what I'm talking about here. I'm just saying. So I appreciate him for that, but at the same time, we know what this is. I mean, and truthfully, when it comes to Vanderbilt, the highest Heisman Trophy finish for them was Carl Hinkle in 1937, who finished 7th place. But I do love it. You even got Jeremiah Smith over at Ohio State talking about, listen, we ain't losing to Michigan no more. You got recruits who ain't even stepped a foot on campus, ain't even practiced. Hey. When I go there, we ain't losing. We ain't losing to this team. We ain't losing to that team. Now, I love it. I love it because that gives us more stuff to talk about. Just like last year in the college football playoff, when Arizona State was playing Texas. Arizona State's quarterback, Sam Levitt, said he was trying to be the best quarterback on the field in last year's Peach Bowl game. He got a slap on the wrist from SEC fans for doing it, but in the end of the day, what did he do? He came out and balled out. That's what he did. And to me, as long as it's genuine and not forced, I don't see an issue with putting your self-belief goals out there for everybody to judge. Because if your goals are not big enough the way somebody is laughing at them, your goals ain't big enough. And I tell that to my kids all the time. If your dreams and your goals are not so big that people are laughing at them, they're not big enough. That means you are thinking too small. And as my mama would say, you got stinking thinking. Stinking thinking. All right. The next thing up is On3. So On3 has taken control of rivals.com. So, little bit of a history lesson. There is a man named Shannon Terry who has basically started all these recruiting sites. Started with scout.com and now here. Because if you've been paying attention to what's been going on at SEC Media Day, SEC coaches, they were paying attention to the rollout of the new Rivals 300 rankings on social media. So there's 247, which is CBS Sports. And so a little bit of the history, because Rivals and On3 means that the two juggernauts in the industry are now together, including 247 is another one. So Shannon Terry actually helped found 247, which absorbed scout.com, which is what he did, and is now owned by CBS Sports. And they operate Max Preps. So if you are a sports parent like me, you know exactly who Max Preps is. So when you think the fact that Shannon Terry has basically started all of these sites, basically, and has now gotten Rivals and On3 to merge, this consolidates power. Because now recruiting rankings have never mattered as more as they do now. And the reason why they matter so much now is because of money and the monetization of college football. So now, Chad Simmons, Steve Wilfong, Adam Gorney, Sam Spiegelman. These are some of the most powerful people in college football recruiting right now because they ultimately have the power to build a consensus rankings on the star system and rank overall prospects and even rate transfer portal prospects. Because what are fans over on their message boards talking about? Where's our recruiting ranking? Where's our recruiting ranking? It don't matter what the if a kid has been falling between the recruiting you know, footsteps and people missed him or misranked him. They don't care. They want the top classes so they can brag about it. That's why these things are important. And as the higher that you are ranked, the more that you can monetize that in terms of pay for play and for NIL. The most popular people plus the best in terms of highest ranked people are going to get the most money because college coaches are willing to offer a freshman a lot of money right now. Look at Jackson Cantwell, who is the number one overall prospect. That was worth millions to go to Miami. Millions. If Miami thought that he was the best player in the country and he was ranked 630, but they're like, yo, that's the best player in the country. Do you think he would have got them millions from Mr. Drew Rosenhaus representing him to go to Miami? No. Do you think that Faison Brandon being the top recruit over on 247 actually helped North Carolina state laws to get changed so he could actually stay in public school and receive endorsement deals? There's a video about that on Unafraid Show too. That's why this matters. And I will say, from a parent whose kid has been ranked that I felt like was misranked and underrated, the recruiting rankings are not perfect. However, overall, particularly at the top, they are generally better than they were because there is tangible data on players in terms of recorded 40 times. There are measurables. There are real live things instead of guesses here and there. You know how fast the guy is. You know how tall he is. You know how high he jumps. They've done all these measurables at camps. Now, measurables don't turn into great football players all the time. Now, that's a whole different story. But what you can do is have great players, like five-star players, for the most part. I like to use a term, they look good getting off the bus. And that means that they're big, strong, fast, all of those things. Like when grandma or auntie walks in the grocery store and she's like, I think that boy plays some football. He gotta play football. He gotta be a football player. They know. So just so you know, if any ladies are watching, and just if any athletes are watching, when you go to the club or when you are out at the beach or you're here or there, and a girl says to you, I didn't know that I had no idea you played football. Especially, I'm not talking about if you're Taz Johnson size. I'm talking about if you are a normal looking football player. Be like, come on, bro. Don't believe it. She's lying to you. That's just the truth. Because I used to have, I had no idea you played football. I'd be like, okay, okay. So you think I'm just 6'3", 265 with muscles for no reason? Just out here pumping iron and just busy all day and, nimble and light on my feet? Come on, man. Don't nobody believe that. But you guys, though, that is Unafraid Show for today. I'm going to hop in the comments real quick to see if I need to address anything. But I appreciate y'all as usual. And yeah, man, addressed a lot of you guys' comments. You guys make sure that you guys share the feed, share with a friend, because the Unafraid Show is great, and you guys have made us greater with the amount of views, with the amount of sharing, the amount of comments in the last 3 weeks. I gotta hire somebody to help me with all of this, and it is because of you. And I promise you, we will keep bringing the heat and bringing great content to you. Peace out. Catch you guys on Thursday.